Right now, somewhere on Earth, millions of people are drinking alcohol, beer, wine, whiskey, something, and most of them never stop to think about one strange fact. What they're doing is one of the oldest behaviors connected to human history. In fact, it might be older than humanity itself, because our relationship with alcohol didn't begin with bars, or ancient kings, or even civilization. It may have started 10 million years ago, deep in an African forest, when a small primate picked up a piece of fruit that had been lying on the ground for just a little too long. And that single moment may have changed human history forever. In 2014, biologist Robert Dudley from UC Berkeley proposed something fascinating. It's called the Drunken monkey hypothesis. Here's the idea. When fruit falls from a tree, natural yeast begins breaking down its sugar. That process creates ethanol, alcohol. Now imagine ancient primates eating that fermented fruit. Suddenly, they feel strange, a little dizzy, a little relaxed, but also it feels good. So naturally they keep coming back. And over millions of years, our ancestors didn't just tolerate alcohol, they evolved to actually seek it out. Meaning, long before humans learned how to make alcohol, their brains were already wired to enjoy it. But eventually, humans stopped finding alcohol by accident and started making it intentionally. The question is, when? For years, scientists believed alcohol came after civilization. First farming, then villages, then alcohol. Seems logical. Except, archaeology says otherwise. In 2018, researchers studying Reykjavik cave in Israel discovered something shocking. Inside the cave were giant stone mortars carved into solid rock, and when scientists tested residue left inside, they found traces of fermented wheat and barley. In simple words, beer. Ancient beer, made 13,000 years ago. Now here's the crazy part. The people who made it weren't farmers. Agriculture didn't even exist yet. These humans were still hunter-gatherers. They collected wild grain by hand. They had no farms, no permanent homes. Yet somehow, making beer was important enough that they figured it out anyway. Think about what that means. Humans may have learned how to brew alcohol before learning how to grow food, and that completely changes history. Then things get even stranger. Around 12,000 years ago, humans built one of the oldest mysterious structures ever discovered. Göbekli Tepe, Turkey, massive stone pillars, some weighing over 10 tons, built with shocking precision. But there was one huge problem. Nobody understood why hunter-gatherers would spend so much effort building something this enormous, until archaeologists found large stone vats, and inside them, chemical traces of fermented grain, alcohol, a lot of it, enough for large gatherings, which led scientists to a bizarre theory. What if this place existed partly for massive rituals, feasting, and drinking together? This leads to one of the biggest debates in archaeology. Why did humans start farming? Most people think the answer is simple: food, bread, survival. But archaeologist Patrick McGovern argues something completely different. What if humans started farming not for bread, but for beer? Think about it. Making bread requires grinding, kneading, baking, work. Beer? Just soak grain in water, leave it alone. And fermentation begins naturally. If he's right, then alcohol didn't come after civilization. It may have helped create civilization itself. By 7000 BCE, humans were already experimenting. In Jiahu, China, scientists discovered pottery jars containing traces of one of the oldest known alcoholic recipes ever found. And surprisingly, it wasn't primitive. It was a mixture of rice, honey, grapes, and berries, a carefully designed drink. Whoever made it knew exactly what they were doing. This wasn't an accident anymore. Humans had mastered fermentation. Then came ancient Egypt, and alcohol became something much bigger. The workers building the pyramids were literally paid in beer, around 4 to 5 liters a day. That was their salary, not money. Beer. And it wasn't just for fun. The Nile's water was often contaminated, but brewing killed harmful bacteria, meaning beer was actually safer than water. It also provided calories, nutrients, and energy. For many workers, beer wasn't just a drink, it was lunch. But Egyptians went even further. They believed beer was a gift from the god Osiris. It appeared in religious ceremonies, temple offerings, burial rituals, even medicine. Doctors mixed herbs into beer and prescribed it to patients. Imagine one drink acting as food, medicine, clean water, religion, and payment all at once. So here's the timeline. 10 million years ago, our primate ancestors accidentally got drunk on fermented fruit. 13,000 years ago, humans were brewing beer in caves before agriculture existed. 12,000 years ago, they may have built giant monuments partly for communal drinking. 9,000 years ago, they had actual recipes. And 5,000 years ago, entire civilizations were running on alcohol, which means something unbelievable. Alcohol didn't appear after humanity built civilization. There's a real possibility it helped build civilization itself. So the next time you see a glass of beer or wine, remember this. That drink connects you to an impulse, older than history, older than farming, possibly older than humanity itself. Because millions of years ago, a small primate reached down, picked up a rotten fruit from the forest floor, and unknowingly began a relationship that still exists today. Some habits never really disappear.